Welcome to the Am I the Asshole podcast. Let's get into it. Our first scenario we have going on here is Am I the asshole for skipping out on our date? So I had plans to go on a date with this really amazing person I've been talking to for a while. We were supposed to meet up at a nice restaurant for dinner last night, but here's the thing. I had a super important work deadline that was creeping up, and I was really stressed out about it. I had been pulling long hours all week, and I knew I needed to put in some more time to make sure everything was perfect. I debated whether to cancel the date or not. And in the end, I made the decision to skip it and focus on my work. I messaged my date explaining the situation and apologizing profusely. They seemed pretty understanding, but I could sense a hint of disappointment in their response. Now I'm feeling conflicted. On one hand, I really needed to get my work done, and it was a critical project for my job. On the other hand, I can't help but wonder if I should have tried harder to make the date happen, or if I could have managed my time better to do both. Did I make the right call prioritizing work over the date, or am I an asshole for potentially letting the person down? Damn, that's a tough one. I mean, it's work. And like she said, it's something where it's extremely important to her job, And so it's like, but I can understand it from the guy's perspective. He's just like, really? All right, she flaking, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of sucks. You get flaked on, and it's a thing where, like, she even said, a really amazing person, like, as if she really likes this guy, and I'm just like, oh shit. But you know what I mean? Because that one flake, then he's just like, all right, I'm off to the next piece and chicken grease on your way. And that would suck, because then she's just like, oh hey, let's say his name's like Albert or something. Hey Albert, well, how's it going? And he's just like, sup, and then she's just like, oh my god, in her head, like, what's going on? That would suck. Yeah, is she the asshole? Kind of no, because at the end of the day, it's like, your work is very important. But knowing that you had this date coming up, you should have probably got all that stuff done beforehand. Like let's keep it a hundo P here. You should have had that done beforehand. That would have made things so much easier. I get it, people sometimes are very last minute with things, and I can understand that, but you should have just been prepared, especially if it's somebody you really like or you think is amazing. But yeah, I would have prepared. I would have just prepared. Okay, next one. Am I the asshole for calling out my date's rude behavior? So I recently went on a date with this guy I matched with on a dating app. We agreed to meet up at a trendy restaurant for dinner. Everything seemed fine at first. We were having a pleasant conversation and getting to know each other. But as the evening went on, I noticed that he started being quite rude to the wait staff. Oh, that's an L. He snapped his fingers and to get their attention, made condescending remarks about the menu, and even complained loudly about the service. It made me uncomfortable, and I could tell that the wait staff were clearly not enjoying his attitude. At one point, he even made a snarky comment about the appearance of the server, which I found completely inappropriate and disrespectful. I couldn't help but feel embarrassed by his behavior, especially since I value treating people with kindness and respect. He ain't getting no coochie after this date. Jesus. I decided to speak up and told him that I didn't appreciate how he was treating the wait staff. I tried to express my point of view calmly, explaining that I thought it was important to treat others with respect and empathy. He seemed taken aback by the defensive, insisting that, he seemed taken aback and defensive, insisting that he was just being assertive and that the service was below his expectations. See, we'll get into that in a second. Our dinner continued with a tense atmosphere and conversation became awkward. Eventually the date ended and we both went our separate ways. Told you he ain't got no booty. Eventually the date ended. We went both our separate ways. I can't help but wonder if I overacted by calling out his behavior. Should I have just ignored it and enjoyed the date, or was it unnecessary to address the rudeness? Am I the asshole in the situation? All right, look, we're gonna take it from the top. Okay, for one, He shouldn't have been rude. That, you know what I mean? It's stupid. Why are you acting that way? You know what I mean? Like, he's probably one of those guys that's probably has never worked retail a day in his life. You know, as someone who's worked retail, I respect people, you know, at the grocery store, waiters, all that, because I know how hard their job can be, and I know they deal with people like that. You know, so that's an L. What are you doing? You know, 2, he claimed it as being assertive. Now, look, man, there's a proper way to hold frame on a date. You know what I mean? And look good in front of the girl, but be assertive as well. You know, like asking her what she wants to eat, you know, and then ordering that for her. You know what I mean? That's a great way to stay assertive within the date. Another way is if you notice her water is low or whatever her drink is, you know, excuse me, you know, can she get a refill? You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to be assertive as a man on a date that is attractive to a woman, but doesn't just immediately be like, no, I am not with him. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to do these things. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh yeah, I gotta yell at everybody and be macho man. You don't have to do all that stuff. But see, that's where the whole concept of toxic masculinity comes in. You know what I mean? It's that type of shit. It's those kind of guys that give, you know, actually masculine men a bad rep, you know, because think about it. This girl's going to go on a date, you know, and say he does exude the things that I was saying, where he's like ordering for her, you know, telling the waiter, hey, she wants a refill, stuff like that. She's automatically going to be like, oh no, he's like the last one. Oh my God. When is he going to call the waiter a bitch? You know what I mean? It's those kind of things. You don't want to do that. You know what I mean? As a man, there are ways to hold frame, but you don't do it like that. You know what I mean? You don't do it through violence or through putting down someone else. You know, you don't do it that way. That's not the way to do it. You just don't do it that way. I'm not going to ramble on too much, but is she the asshole? But she's not. No, she's not, because dude's just a rude piece of shit, if I'm being honest with you. He's not a masculine man. He's a rude piece of shit, you know? And it sucks because I get it from his point of view. He's probably thinking like, oh, I'm being really manly. Oh, I'm, you know, being assertive and this and that. But it's like, you're doing it in the wrong way, my G, you know? And that's why it's an L. It's an L. You know, you're doing it the wrong way. I understand the mindset and where he's coming from. I can tell you he's probably one of those guys that, you know, pays for the date and controls the date. You know, oh no, we're going to go here. You know, make sure you wear this, you know, be comfortable, this and that. I'm sure he had all those things, and that's why he got the date in the first place. But on the date, you have to continue that, but you have to do it in a different way. You know, every situation is going to call for a different styling of being masculine, being assertive, being a man. You have to have that. You just do, you know. Girls aren't going to respond to that stuff. They just won't, you know. And if you think they will, whew, good luck, brother, because you're going to be dating your hand for a long time. All right. Our last scenario, we have, am I the asshole for canceling our date last minute? We got another date canceler. Oh, man. Motherfucking, we'll see if this one's a flaky flake like the other one. I mean, I get it was her job, but God, be prepared, okay, ladies, be prepared. You make sure you got your shit together and taken care of before you go on a date. All right, so here's the deal. I've been chatting with an amazing person on a dating app. Oh, oops. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the wrong one. I apologize. Okay. Am I the asshole for refusing to split the bill on a date? Oh, Jesus. Okay. So, I recently went on a date with this amazing person I met through a mutual friend. We had a great time chatting, laughing, and getting to know each other towards the end of the evening. The check arrived, and I assumed that we would split it, as is the norm these days. Okay, I mean, that's not really the norm, if I'm being honest with you, but maybe where they live, it is the norm, because I've never been on a date where a girl is just like, so are we splitting this? I mean, unless she had a really bad time, or, you know, she's doing that whole like, I don't want him to feel like I owe him something, I'm just gonna pay half or whatever. But I don't think that it's a very common thing. If I'm being, I don't think it's a norm. All right. However, when the bill came, my date casually mentioned that he had forgotten their wallet all at home and asked if I could cover the entire bill. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I was taken aback and felt a bit uncomfortable with the situation. While I didn't want to be rude, I also didn't think it was fair for me to cover the entire bill, especially since it was an expensive restaurant. I hesitated for a moment and then politely suggested that we split the bill as originally planned. Oh, they originally planned it. Okay, that's different. They originally planned it. That ain't a way to really tell a girl, hey, I'm into you, but if it works, it works, I guess. Whatever. My date seemed a little disappointed and reluctant to agree to split, but I could tell that he was not thrilled about it. The rest of the evening went well, but there was a subtle tension that lingered. I had a great time overall, but now I'm wondering if I should have just paid the entire bill to avoid any awkwardness or potentially hurt feelings. Am I the asshole for not wanting to cover the entire bill? Hoo-wee. Look, I'm gonna talk to you fellas out here. Pay for the date. All right? Stop being cheap. Pay for the fucking date. I don't understand why this is so hard for so many guys. If you're a broke dude, you shouldn't be dating at all, if I'm being honest with you. If you're a broke dude, man, stop. Just stop. Get some help because you need it. You know what I mean? Pay for the date. Now, if a girl like her, she's probably the exception to the fucking rule, you know what I mean? It still goes on a date with a guy. I mean, maybe, you have some looks or you have maybe some status or, you're the type of guy that she is just innately attracted to. That's awesome. And she offers, but that is where, again, like in the last scenario, that's where you hold that frame. You be like, hey, I appreciate that, but I got it. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Don't go on a date expecting, oh, cool, man. She about to split it with me. And then this dummy, he left his wallet at home. My G. Oh. Because I want to know, okay, she even said that that she overall had a good time. I don't know if they went and did something else after this because, bro ain't got no money. So I highly doubt it. They must have did some cheap shit, like walk around, the mall or something. I have no clue. But my thing is, men, pay for the dates. Stop. If you get a girl like this, that's great. That's like, oh my God, I'll pay for it this time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But don't let her pay for the date. Pay for it. Be the man. I can't stand this. You broke guys out there, man, you be fucking it up for the rest, don't you? Because Jesus Christ, that is just... Y'all niggas are terrible. Y'all are terrible. Oh my goodness. Is she the asshole for not wanting to cover the entire bill? She shouldn't have to. She shouldn't have to. That's the thing. You know what I mean? I get it. They always complain a lot of times. Oh, girls are they don't ever have to pay for the date, and this and that. But it's just like, that's just dating nowadays, man. Like, if you want to be with a girl that's worth being with, you're gonna do those kind of things, And it might have been a thing where maybe he looked at it like, oh, I just want to have the smecks with her, and that could be something that he's going for. But if I'm being honest with you, if you're with a girl that's worth being with, fucking pay for the date. It's as simple as that. Pay for the date, man. And even just like the first scenario, be prepared. You know what I mean? Be prepared. Before you walk out of the door, make sure you got your phone, wallet, keys. Adam Sandler didn't make that song for no reason. Phone, wallet, keys. Phone, wallet, keys. You know what I mean? It's just is what it is. All right, so that's going to wrap everything up. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I hope you guys give your opinions down in the comments. I want to hear you guys' opinions. I know I gave a lot of opinions, but I do want to hear you guys' opinions. You can even challenge my opinion if you want. That's totally fine. As long as we're down there having a conversation, I'd love to hear what you have to say. the links down below I have for my Patreon. Patreon is for if you want to send in your very own Am I the Asshole, as well as exclusive episodes on there. If you don't have time for a full podcast, that's totally fine. Go ahead and check us out on TikTok and Instagram. That's where you'll get clips and more bite-sized versions of them as well. And even when you're over there, same thing. I'll have the scenarios up, and go ahead and comment what you think. All right, and I see you guys later.